Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to bring on a real expert, forensic criminologist, law enforcement practices expert. He has also got a best-selling book, Border Justice, a Texas Ranger Wade Justice series. And we got a lot to talk to this retired San Jose Police Department detective, Dr. Ron Martinelli, and a lot to talk to him about today. How are you, Doctor? Good day to you.
Thanks for having me on. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. So obviously, you've written a best-selling book, Border Justice. We just talked about a little bit earlier about what's going on at the border. This is going to be a real nightmare for our country. How do you think we're going to handle all of this influx coming in from the southern border? Supposedly 770,000 people are getting ready to come in here after Title 42 is lifted.
Well, in some of the work that I do for one of our border states' attorney generals, I deal with border issues, and I can tell you that we're not going to be able to do much about it because we would have already done something about it before during the current administration. So this is unfortunate. I have to be very honest with your viewers. This is going to be a catastrophic invasion of the United States. We're never seen anything like this before. People have to remember we already have, during the Biden administration, we're going to already have 7 million UDAs, undocumented aliens, that have come into the United States. We've got probably 30 plus million UDAs in the United States at the current time. So when the administration says that they're sending 1,500 troops down to the border, that's a joke. That is going to be
a joke.
Administrative. There is no law enforcement going on the border. It's all if you watch the drone footage, if you watch the interviews nationally, law enforcement, departments of public safety, Customs and Border Patrol, all they're doing is receiving these people that swim across the Rio Grande River and sneak into the country. They're doing it simply for safety. Then they're housing them. Then it's catch and release. So really, there's zero law enforcement action going on the border.
And then, of course, all 50 states are impacted, but especially, your border states, what's going on in New Mexico and Arizona, and especially California and especially Texas. I mean, this is a mind-boggling influx here that we're dealing with. And of course, it's a strain on these states. And it's obviously something that the law-abiding, tax-paying citizens in those states are very worried and upset about. I mean, you were in a police department in San Jose, California. I'm sure it's going to be a strain for all of our local law enforcement individuals in these border states, right?
No, absolutely. And a large part of my time at the San Jose Police Department, I worked as street gangs. I was a street gang investigator for one of my assignments. It's interesting. Thank you so much for bringing up my book, Border Justice. And justice is spelled Justus because that's what my main character's name is. It's a play on all of the novels best-selling novels that I write. But the issue is not just the UDAs that are sneaking into the United States. It is allowing the cartels, and that's what I talk about. Even though it's a fictional mystery adventure novel, all of the statistics that I give in the book are 100% accurate, and I educate the reader on basically 7 of the most notorious transnational drug and human trafficking cartels from Mexico. And we had last year over 100,000 overdose deaths. 80% of those were fentanyl deaths. We are allowing the cartels to establish major, irrevocable foothold in our country.
So here's my next worry, Doctor, and we're visiting with Dr. Ron Martinelli. Got a incredible background and got a best-selling book, Border Justice. So my next worry is, of course, we've got, as you said, millions and millions that have come in here, including over 1 million gotaways. And these are folks that haven't been processed. We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. So we could be talking about Chinese agents. We could talk about terrorists. We could be talking about Mexican drug cartel members. We could talk about gang members. I mean, that puts this country at tremendous risk, does it not, Doctor?
No, it absolutely does. And so when you just have to put this into perspective of the amount of deaths that we've had in the United States, and not only overdose deaths, but just this quarter alone at the border, we've lost in excess of 1,000 UDAs. So drownings, murders, vehicle pursuits, car rollovers, and everybody has to remember that the cartels, and I write about this in the book, the cartels control every single person that comes across the border. Every single one is tracked by the cartels in a variety of ways. So if you put 100,000 overdose deaths into perspective, that is twice as many deaths as we experienced in the Vietnam War, which was a 15-year conflict. We had about 58,000 plus military deaths. Now, in 1 year, we have almost twice that much. And it's an
absolute tragedy. My own opinion is that this is an impeachable offense, that we have not secured this country. We've allowed this invasion to occur. We were making progress in the previous administration. All that was thrown out of the window when this new administration came in. They keep lying to us and saying that the border is secure. I mean, an absolute lie. Mayorkas was still saying that, and we're going to share a clip in a minute with the Secretary of Homeland Security. He should be impeached as well. Doctor, we have about a minute left. I wanted to give you a chance to give us your overall perspective here. What can we do? We've got another year and 9 months of this administration. What can the American people do to try to deal with this catastrophe?
Well, I have to put it back on the states, and I feel sorry. I'm from Texas, used to live in California. California's pretty much lost. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, they have opportunities. But I'm having been in law enforcement and understanding the federal and state court system, because I'm in the federal and state court system all the time. It's what I do for a living. I'm of a mind that, given the low ratings of the Biden administration, this is a time for the governors to step up and stop the rhetoric and to get in their face.
I could not agree with you more, and that's what I've been calling for years. Thank you, Doctor. Keep up the great work. We hope to have you back on